So here's a big question for you. Is it really possible to change? I mean, to fundamentally change who you are on the inside, to truly renew your heart. That's the massive question we're going to tackle in this explainer.
You know, it all kicks off with this dilemma that I'm pretty sure every single one of us has felt. You know what the right thing to do is, right? You know what's good, what's kind, what's unselfish, but a lot of the time, we just don't do it. Why? Why is it so hard to close that gap between what we know is right and what we actually end up doing?
The philosopher Jacob Needleman, he just nails it. He says that we human beings are, and I'm quoting here, mysteriously helpless to live up to our own best ideas. He actually calls this the ultimate human problem. It's like we've got the perfect blueprints for a better life, a better self, but for some reason we just can't seem to build the thing.
So yeah, that brings us right into our first big idea here, the ultimate human problem. And what's so fascinating about this is that this isn't some new 21st century anxiety. Oh no, this is a problem that people were writing about in detail thousands and thousands of years ago.
Okay, let's take a look at the ancient book of Deuteronomy, for example. It's wild. On one hand, you've got this incredible blueprint for a society that's full of integrity and, well, joyful unselfishness. It even says that if people just followed the plan, there'd be no poverty. Imagine that. But then here's the kicker. In the very same book, it predicts complete and total failure. It basically says, yeah, you're not going to be able to do this. You're going to end up in exile. So the blueprint is perfect, but the power to actually live it out, it's just not there.
And, you know, it's funny, modern thinking kind of bumps up against the same exact wall. There's this great story from a Harvard psychology class. The professor presents this amazing case study about helping a man uncover all this deep-seated bitterness he had towards his mother. A student, totally captivated, asks, okay, so how do you help him forgive her? And the professor just says, look, giving him a forgiving heart, that's outside the scope of what we do. They could diagnose the problem with laser-like precision, but they couldn't actually provide the cure.
So, if just knowing what's wrong with us isn't enough to fix us, then what is? Well, let's go back to those ancient texts. Because the same ones that diagnosed the problem so perfectly, they also proposed a radically new solution. And that solution revolves around this really powerful and, yeah, maybe a little strange-sounding metaphor, the circumcised heart. Now hold on, this has nothing to do with a physical operation. It's a metaphor for a kind of deep, internal, spiritual surgery, a renewal so profound that it literally changes your desires, what you want. And get this, it's not something you do for yourself. It's described as a gift that you receive.
And this kind of internal renewal, it causes this massive shift in your whole motivation. It creates this incredible moment where what you feel you have to do suddenly becomes what you actually want to do. It's the point where duty transforms into desire. Okay, check this out. Before this change, life can feel like this big, long checklist of obligations, right? I have to be good. I have to be patient. Everything you do is just a means to an end. You're trying to get a reward or maybe just avoid getting in trouble. But after, the whole game changes. The motivation flips from external to internal. It's not I have to, it's I want to. I want to be generous. I want to love. The good thing itself becomes its own reward.
You know, John Newton, the guy who wrote Amazing Grace, he captured this idea perfectly. He wrote, "Our pleasure and our duty, though opposite before, are joined to part no more." I mean, wow, that's it, isn't it? That's the moment of alignment. It's when your deepest desires and your highest duties finally click together and become the same thing.
All right, this all sounds pretty amazing in theory, doesn't it? But how would you know? I mean, for real, how would you know if this kind of change has actually happened in a person? Well, that brings us to 3 key signs of renewal.
And the signs are pretty simple, and they kind of build on each other. They are love, obey, and live. So let's break down what each of those really looks like.
Okay, so sign number 1 is love. And this is all about a change in the quality of your spiritual life. Think about it like this. Back in college, I had to listen to Mozart just to pass a music class. For me, Mozart was useful. He got me a grade. But today I'll actually spend my own money on a ticket to hear a Mozart symphony. Why? Because now I find it just beautiful. It's not a means to an end anymore. The music is the end. And that's the shift we're talking about, when God goes from being useful to being beautiful.
Next up, sign number 2, obey. Now this is absolutely crucial. This isn't about gritting your teeth and obeying in order to get a new heart.
It's the total opposite. Obedience is the result of a heart that's already been changed. See, it's not enough to just get emotional during a song or a talk. The real proof is in the pudding. It's about tangible change. Ask yourself this: are the people closest to you, the ones who see you day in and day out, are they seeing you become more unselfish, more kind, more self-controlled? That's the real test.
And that leads us to the third sign: live. This one is all about the kind of growth we're talking about. So you have to ask yourself, is your growth mechanical? Is it just about adding things on, like stacking one brick on top of another? More knowledge here, another good deed there, just building a pile.
Or is it organic? Is it more like a flower bulb, where the growth comes from the inside out, transforming it into a tulip? See, that kind of growth isn't just about adding more stuff. It's a change in quality. It's about becoming a wiser, deeper, more tender person, but also a tougher one. It's a fundamental change to your character, growing from a seed that was planted deep inside you.
Okay, so all of this leads to the biggest, most important question, doesn't it? If this isn't something we can do on our own, then how in the world does this kind of transformation actually happen? So let's dig into the path to change.
Seriously, how is a heart like this procured? If it's a gift, how do you get it? We know it's not something you can just get by trying harder. That's the whole problem we started with.
Well, the answer, believe it or not, is hidden inside that strange metaphor we talked about earlier. In the ancient world, the ritual of circumcision was a physical sign of the penalty for breaking the covenant agreement with God. It was a symbol for being cut off, justly cut off, from life, from blessing, from God Himself, as a consequence of disobedience.
Now, fast forward a few hundred years, the prophet Isaiah writes about this mysterious figure who would experience that exact cutting off, but on a cosmic scale and for other people. The text says, "He was pierced for our transgressions. He was cut off from the land of the living." What this is describing is someone stepping in and taking that penalty, that curse, onto himself.
And this is the absolute heart of the matter. The change, the new heart, it doesn't start when you clench your fists and promise God you're going to try harder this time. No. It begins when you are simply stopped in your tracks by the beauty of that sacrifice. When you see that someone else willingly took the cutting off that you deserved. The moment you are genuinely moved by that incredible act of love, that is the seed of the new heart being planted inside you.
So, that leaves us with this final thought to chew on. We live in a world that is completely obsessed with self-improvement, with life hacks, with 10 steps to a better you. But what if? What if the deepest, truest, most lasting change isn't something we can ever achieve? What if it's something we simply have to receive?